Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to your sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right, I'm the brother Shimon of Great Millstone, Chicago. And, this is just a digital epistle on to Ronald Dalton and to whom else it may apply. Because we're at the point where this word, the faith is starting to break mainstream, which, they've always known about us, but they're starting to really put it mainstream. And what you're noticing is they're highlighting certain men who are not teaching things that are according to the scriptures. And these, we do these videos. It's not a personal attack. It's not a, none of that. But it is correction from the Lord. And the scriptures talk about despise not correction. And I just Googled, YouTube search Ronald Dalton, which is interesting, man. Certain videos, brothers' videos did come up, which is good, man. People can be corrected on certain things that, people be corrected on certain things that he teaches, which are not scriptural. Right? And this, these elders and you see videos by the elders and apostles and want to scroll through. All right, other folly and bullshit. All right, but yeah, these videos are very edifying. You know what I'm saying? Check them out and subscribe to all the elders. All right, the apostles as well, of course. That's why we give them double honors, man. And from where they stem, One West, that's where the truth came from. That's all, the brothers who are doing the work right now that you're seeing out on the corners, all right, these different cities and on YouTube. We're all fruit of One West. Okay, we're all fruit of men who studied at One West. All right, because you have so many different sects of Israelites. You got so-called Black, Native American, Latino people who've embraced really, where I was talking to the El Uriah, and he was correct, where Yasharalayim. Okay, Yasharalayim. We're the sons of the living power. All right, but we say Israelite, of course. All right, but getting straight to the point. Because it's a lot of mistakes in this doctrine. Matter of fact, let's just go straight to the scriptures. Because first off, he's on the black wave, and I was listening to. Let's get a scripture first. It's like I don't mean just talk and drag on. All right, let's go straight to it, man. This is 2 Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that was seen unto him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that had heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. And so this is describing a battle between multitudes of men, which are out of the four, out of the earth in various parts, versus a man who said he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted his hand, nor held sword, nor any instruments of war. But only I saw that he had sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. All right, but the point was that man on that mountain, which we know that mountain is what we call a chariot. All right, because that's the main point of this particular video, man. He made the comment about the chariots, and whoever taught him or wherever he gained his understanding from, they didn't express to him that you actually have celestial chariots. Yes. Okay, the wheel within the wheel, the flying roll. In this case, it's a mountain, which really is a chariot, and it's the Lord on top of that chariot. Okay, what does it say? The white horse, the man on the white horse that's mentioned in Revelation. Right, which the white horse is a representation of pure power. It's not going to be an actual white horse. Right, this wasn't an actual mountain. And that's why the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's get that. Talks about a stumbling block. It's another good one too. This is Romans 11:7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, the Most High hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. All right, and this is what it means to be asleep. And these are, now, was it talking about our people were literally asleep? We've literally been asleep this long? No, it's a metaphor. Now, that's what the scriptures is full of, metaphors, and the spirit is on you to break down and to understand these metaphors. And this is verse 9. And David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall salvation is come unto the Gentiles for to provoke them. But the point was up here, man. The spirit of slumber. Right? Because you have, the Bible is the most popular book in the world. Millions of people have them in their home. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. Got the Bible sitting right there. Maybe they do dust it every Sunday or whatever. Maybe they do open it. Right? But they don't understand it. And that's where I was, when I discovered, this knowledge. I was looking, searching, who has the answers, who has the greatest understanding. All right, let's read a little more. It's Daniel 5, and I'm just giving examples, because the chariot thing, that's just one topic. We already know once we delve in and start to listen more, that there are going to be more topics. I'm curious to see where Kyrie got the flat earth thing from, and if that's a doctrine too. All right. Yes, there are people who teach false doctrines and gain popularity. Yes. And this is not a popularity contest, man, but we do want to be right. All right, let's say, be ye perfect as your Father is in heaven. We want to be perfect in all things. We want to, especially with this word, man, dividing this word correctly. All right, but this is just an example. This is Daniel 5:12. Verse 11. It said, there is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say, thy father made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. All right, so this man was placed above all of these men who were, had all these explanations, and no, man, this man who had the understanding of the Holy Bible, who had an understanding of his heritage and his lineage and who we are, he was over all of them. Right, it says, for as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams and showing of hard sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar, excuse me. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. So there you go. Daniel was rated highly. All right, and that's what when you look at the spirit, who the spirit is dealing with, the spirit is going to give understanding unto that person. All right, the spirit is going to give understanding. Matter of fact, let's jump back. What's that? Wisdom of Solomon 7. All right, and because these are the things you're going to know. It said, for he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons, the circuits of years and the positions of stars, the natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. All right, so when the Lord blessed Solomon with wisdom, that's not just some cliche, oh, he's wise now. No, he was given understanding of all things. Right? Of all things. So if you're, call yourself a teacher, you call yourself a prophet, you call yourself these things, you're supposed to know, the correct and direct understanding of this entire book. All right, it says, for wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit holy, one only, manifold, which a lot of the scriptures are manifold. A manifold meaning, it can have multiple, it can have different layers. All right, it can have different layers to the understanding of. All right, hey, when Samson said, who's been plowing with my heifer, he wasn't actually talking about who's been working with actual cow. All right, he was talking about, his woman. And the scriptures is full of, the next word, subtle. Subtle. All right, what does it say? To give subtlety to the simple. Hey, a lot of, even with our people, man, what they used to say, man, I got to go in and work for the man. Now, you know exactly what they were talking about, the damn white man. All right, our people are always doing that, giving nicknames and especially, up in Chicago, man, every place has their own lingo. All right, guess what? You got lingo throughout the scriptures. You had lingo all throughout wherever our people are because of the salt of the earth. All right, it says manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good. All right, so it's talking about wisdom. Kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. Okay, different spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into it. All right, so we definitely, when it comes to breaking down the scriptures, you definitely have to make sure that you know what you're talking about. Now, yes, when it's talking about chariots, it's talking about, yes, you have times where it's talking about actual chariots. It counts the horses. And, hey, when it says, it talks about the Lord and that white horse, but then earlier, it actually, let's say kings, all right, they actually go through and they count the horses and count this many chariots and this and that. Two different meanings, but it might be the same word. It might be the same exact word. Some places where it talks about, I will give you bread to eat, it's actually talking about physical bread, but then sometimes it's talking about food. Right, some place where it talks about, it's another good example. Like here, 2 Samuel 6 and 16. And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. And they brought in the ark of the Lord and set it in its place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And I'm going to jump to the point. Verse 20, then David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, how glorious was the king of Israel today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, as one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovered himself. Now, I never said he took his clothes off, but basically she was talking shit. And basically he was talking shit because it said, verse 19, and he dealt among all the people, even among the whole multitude of Israel, as well to the women as men, to everyone a cake of bread and a good piece of flesh and a flagon of wine. So all the people departed, everyone to his house. All right, so she was talking shit, who uncovered himself today. Basically, he was amongst his people. All right, he was celebrating. He didn't actually, he wasn't actually naked. He didn't actually uncover himself. But you have to, you have to be able to understand the context of what it's saying. All right, and that's what the scriptures is filled with. All right, parables and all these different things which might be written one way, and it might actually, you might look the definition up. Sometimes the Hebrew definition does give, full understanding on it. The word there is this, but then sometimes the word is just the same as, another word which was used in a different context. All right, that's why the scriptures talk about, dark sayings and parables. All right, hey, the thing with the chariots, that's easy, man. This is Zechariah 14:12, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought. Excuse me. This is Zechariah 5:2. 5:1. Excuse me, that was, disregard that. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then he said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. All right, so that flying roll. It's not why is a roll flying? And how is it a curse? It's not talking about a roll. It's talking about a chariot, okay? Celestial vehicle. All right, the same ones which there are thousands and thousands of videos which the government has now admitted that they have, which they can't catch. They can't really get a good shot of. They can't figure out where they go, or where they came from, or where they go. All right, how they work, how fast they can go, who's operating them. They can't figure it out. And they actually admitted that. And they have, footage of their fastest jets. And this is Esau Edom. They got some fast shit. They got some shit that can go Mach whatever. And they couldn't catch it, couldn't keep up with it. Too quick. All right? And we have all kind of videos where we actually have seen them. So for you to, make that statement that there are no celestial vehicles, man, you must not know the scriptures, bro. You must not know the scriptures. All right, this is, I finish on that. Yeah, I was finished. All right, what does it say where the eagles gather? Because we started off, the eagles also body. All right, Luke 17 and 34. This is what it's talking about. Now, we should be taken up. We should be changed. I tell you, in that night there shall be 2 men in one bed. The one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinded together. The one shall be taken, and the other left. 2 men shall be in the field. The one shall be taken, and the other left. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. As that's talking about angels. Okay, that's not talking about chariots. That's talking about angels, even though it's going to be chariots everywhere. All right, the Lord himself, like I said, he's going to be coming back on a giant chariot. So I don't see why, it couldn't be, but eagles is a reference to angels. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. All right, the body is talking about what? The body, the people. All right, wherever his people are, that's where the angels are going to be gathered together. All right, shit, Jude. It's one chapter, but it gets right to it. I think it's 17. Verse 14. And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, so this goes back all the way to the beginning. Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all the ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. All right, so hey, the Lord is coming with his people. Now he's going to gather his people. He's going to have his armies of angels, okay, with chariots too. Like it talks about the chariot that we follow in the desert. All right, a harmless son. In fact, let's get that too. There's too many references in the scriptures. Shit, too many videos, too much edification. But we at the end of the day, we're gonna see who's set up and who's not, because that would be a smart, clever move to try to control the narrative, so they find some guy and then have him, break down things correctly, and people, think that no, this guy's legit. This is the way. Hey, scriptures talk about false teachers or false messiahs. But who knows, man? We'll see. Wisdom of Solomon 18:3. It said, instead whereof thou gavest them a burning pillar of fire, both to be a guide of the unknown journey, and a harmless son to entertain them honorably. All right, a harmless son. It's talking about a chariot. All right, because how were they going through the desert in the middle of the night? There were no street lights in the desert. Now, yeah, you can carry a piece of wood with a fire on it, but shit, that's only gonna light up so much. Nah, man, the Lord gave us the royal a royal journey. All right, a burning pillar of fire, cloud by day, pillar of fire by night. What do you think that is? All right, hey, when it talks about, I'm gonna get one more, then I'm gonna close out. All right, this is where studying comes in, man. This is why. Real quick, I'm gonna veer off. All right, this is something we were talking about, man. Deuteronomy 17 and 18. And it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, talking about the king of Israel, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his power, to keep all the words of his law, and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. So the king had to actually write out the law, right? The king had to write out the law so that he, to make sure that he understood. Right? So it said, Judah the lawgiver. It is the glory of kings to search out a matter, because the king has to know. He makes a ruling on something. He has to know the law. Right? So when you do these lessons, when we do go out, teach and preach, we got to make sure that we're not being false prophets that we talk about. We got to make sure that we're not, saying the wrong thing or leading, the flock of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai astray. Excuse me. Very important. I'm going to end with this one. Right, 2 Kings 2:1. And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. All right, he said, take him up by a whirlwind. It's talking about a chariot. It's talking about a chariot. Now, maybe, the chariot could have had some kind of wind effect or, but ultimately, that's what happened. He was taken up on the chariot. And this is Acts 1. Matter of fact, this is my last couple of verses. Acts 1:7. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. A cloud, huh? There's a chariot. Right? Clouds are full of water. Now, it might have looked like a cloud, but we know it's a chariot. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, peep this, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. Now, were these actual men? We know that they're angels, okay? Angels who look like men. Which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahweh Shai, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. So he's going to come back just like he left in a chariot. He's going to come back in one. Now, that's what it's talking about. Lord willing is edifying. Shalom.